So what we think is that that's going to be the future of where our technology goes. So we are also developing a lot of new technology which helps our migrate our technology from a website and kiosk based solution, kiosk and app based solution, to a 3D solution which can readily be available in a game or can be available in some sort of a 3D environment which you're exploring, which can be on a VR device, or it can be on like an Xbox kind of an interface, or on something else that will come from the future.
Okay, all right. Hi Anand, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Right. So before we start today's discussion, let me set the context and pace of the session today. Right. So today we have AnanthKrishnan, who is founder and CTO at Dave AI. Right. Now, before I start with the series of questions that I have for you today, I would like to know a bit more about yourself. If you can shed some light about your background, how you started off with Dave, so on and so forth. Over to you, Anand.
Yeah. So at Dave, so we started around 2016, where we had the idea of building an intelligent sales person, right? So we wanted to. So most of the things, right, when we're talking about automation, right, happens at a commodity level. So, but a real way to make sales is through an actual person who talks and convinces a person to buy something, right? And a lot of what we were seeing at that time in 2016 was that there was a lot of e-commerce, but there wasn't a lot of way to, sort of nudge the person or give the person the required information that they're asking for, and then convince them or give them advice about what they should buy and what is preferable for them. And we for us it sort of came down to the vision of a sari salesman, right? So I think a lot of our parents, they when we were kids, at least we used to accompany them, and it was a time before any of these online things existed. And but when my mom used to go to buy a sari, there used to be this guy who used to show them all the pieces. They used to say, okay, I want something in green, so he used to show something in green. I have a range budget, and then he used to show something in the budget. Then he used to suggest that why don't you try this, because this is a new variety or pattern. And then they say, no, this is good, but I like that. So he understands what my mother and my aunties and so on used to what their interest is, and thus get them to the kind of sari that they really like, and it's in their budget. It's something that they get to, and this they can do in a matter of a few seconds, even when there are thousands and thousands of pieces that are there, right? And this is completely missing in e-commerce scenario, where in e-commerce, where you have thousands and thousands of options, where you can do some search, you can do some filtering, but even then, getting to the right product that you're looking for is still a challenge in e-commerce. And that level of kind of interaction that you can build, or the rapport that you can build with the sari salesperson, is something that you don't get nowadays. And in fact, the newest generation have in fact not even seen what the sari sales situation can be, right? Because it's completely taken over by something that's more that's a little bit more I would say quick, in the sense accessible, not quick, it's accessible, but at the same time the overall experience is very dull, right? So that's when we decided that this is the kind of solution we wanted to do, and build a sales brain which understands what people really want and tries to give them the right kind of suggestions and the nudges which will then lead them to a purchase. And that's the genesis of the idea. We spent 2 to 3 years just building the technology, largely. And somewhere and we ran pilots, and we did very small projects with a few customers, but roughly in 2019 we started sort of scaling up and sort of deploying this in a larger area, where we had the avatar on the web kind of scenario, avatar on the kiosk scenario, which was able to talk to people give them advice on what products they're looking for, and then help them to purchase what products that they may be interested in.
That's quite interesting piece, Anand. And the thing that you mentioned that is lacking in e-commerce is the personal touch and the kind of intelligence that can, ease or, bridge the whole, looking out and purchase process, right? Primarily, so to say, right? That's quite interesting bit, right? So can you now give an overview of the industry size and what are the key market dynamics that come into the play when we speak about this industry per se?
So the industry is actually so there's a mix of players in the industry. So one of the key competitors that we have is a plain chatbot industry, right? So a lot of websites, they have chatbots which are connected to the website, and a part of our a certain percentage of our deployments are also chatbots, right? But what we also do is that we are able to add that personalized touch to a chatbot, which is a differentiator. But it is still a challenge for us to convince many of our potential customers that there is this advantage that avatars have over a traditional chatbot, right? So that's one angle. Then there are another set of players who make it easy to generate or create videos of some people or some a recording video where they do a lip sync to a narration of the product information. So this is not intelligent, but at the same time it actually serves a purpose of providing some sort of a personalization or a personal touch to it. So where you can talk, where it appears that you're talking to a person, and the person can explain the product to you, right? While you're on the website, for example, or you're visiting an app, you're looking at it on an app. These are the two directions in which we have competition, and of course there are a few players in the international market who do what we do. But a large part of our market is a large part of our business strategy is about creating that awareness, that adding this intelligence to the a face, or adding a face to a chatbot, right? Both of these two aspects, that it gives a much better improvement in the engagement on their properties, or the conversions on their properties, and so on. So we usually find it a challenge to do this, and hence we take the approach of doing a pilot with all our customers. So to start with, we always suggest that we do a pilot with them. They do something like what we call A/B testing. You say that one with our solution, one with another solution, or without the solution, and then they see a comparison with raw numbers to be able to then say that yes, this is the place that we go. But not a lot of companies have the capability to do such a testing, right? Because it requires a certain amount of maturity in their digital journey, which will allow them to do some sort of an A/B testing of this sort. So hence, this is one of the biggest challenges that we have in our market. It's changing. We are seeing very fast adoption very quickly, but we are also seeing a lot of use of this in the metaverse kind of a scenario, where people are deploying our solutions inside their metaverses. This is one of the things that is happening, and there is a much more I would say a much better buy-in for our solution rather than on the website of late.
Correct. That's quite interesting, but Anand. Now that brings me to my next question. Basically, you have started off in 2016, right? So you told that initial 3 years you spent developing the product and so on and so forth, and then 2019 is where you launched, right? Now, how the market has evolved from, let's say, 2016 to 2019 to what it is today, in your experience?
So firstly, in 2016, AI was just a buzzword, right? Most people did not know what AI is and did not really see it in practice. So in 2016, it was a big effort for people to even think or realize that AI would be something that they would be interested in, like as a business, right? And from there, we are reached now at a place where AI is a given, right? Now every small bit of software that everybody uses has parts and pieces of AI, and use it all, and it is become from a buzzword to a commodity. So AI itself is become like more or less like a common stance there. Like, if you compare that with the internet of the early 2000s, right? So in those days there were most companies, they did not even have a website, right? And the challenge was then to convince that our website is something that you need to have as a company. But now it's quite like by 2010 it became the other way around, where people name their companies based on availability of domains, right? So website became like the core of almost everybody's digital strategy. And the similar thing has happened to AI now, where AI has become the core of almost everybody's digital strategy. So I think that maturity has happened in the market, and that is also sort of reflecting on the way we are able to scale up now. So the rate at which we are scaling up, rate at which we are getting new projects and new customers is now become much more because of the growth of the market and the maturity of the market for the product.
Correct, right. So I think people are also becoming more and more aware about the new technologies, and adoption is also increasing, so to say, right? So now, Ananth, can you let me know more about the product or service that you offer, and what makes you unique in the market from your compete? Although you touched upon this a little bit, but if you can shed some more light on this, it'll be.
So one of so our product is basically a virtual sales avatar, right? Which has a virtual presence, which can be deployed on an app or on the website, on your website, or it can be deployed on a kiosk, or it can also be deployed inside a metaverse, inside a game, or inside some sort of a 3D environment. So these are some of the deployments that we have. What our solution actually does is that it is able to not just hold a generic conversation, which is actually true about most basic chatbots, but is able to answer in-depth questions about the product and the sales process. Right. So, for example, if I have to buy a complex product, let's say a complex product is something where you cannot look at a thumbnail and decide whether you want to buy it or no, because there are many complexities that are associated with. So, for example, if you want to buy a house, for example, right, there you would have 100 questions about your house. You would want to know whether it is south facing, east facing, what is the size of this, what is the size of that, and you have a lot of questions. So that the inventory is not very large, but there is a lot of in-depth knowledge that you need about the specific product that you're trying to sell. Similarly, it is if you want to buy a banking product. So let's say you want to purchase a credit card, right? So although you might think that a credit card is something it's just a card that you use, but you have many questions about the credit card, like what is your credit cycle, how much interest is there, what are the benefits I'm going to get, and so on. So you would do an in-depth analysis before getting on board on the credit card. Similarly, you would do that for something like an automobile, which you are going to buy maybe twice or thrice in your lifetime, for example, right? So these are some of the complex products that our software is actually very adept at selling. So the avatar that we can hold a conversation with both text as well as speech is able to sell these complex products by answering questions about the user, and to find the affinity between the user and the products and their features. Now, for example, you may buy a house, and for you the most important thing in your house may be the location, for example, right? And if you are coming to any website, or you're coming to even meet a salesperson, right? You go to the property, and there's somebody there who will walk you through the house. It takes some time for that person to understand that your biggest priority is the location, right? Or for some people, the location itself may not be that important, but it might be the fact that it is well aerated and there is a lot of fresh air around, right? This might be the important thing. So what are the important things that you like about the house or the complex product that you're buying? So let's say it's a car, then whether it is mileage that is important to you, or the looks that is important to you, or the financing that's available to you, that's important. So each person has a different set of reasons why they make the purchase, and our technology is able to identify that particular reason or that particular motivation for the user, and nudge them to look at products which fit their motivation, and also to be able to push them to purchase or make the next step, to move the next step, because we are able to highlight the things that they are interested in about that particular product. Right, so these are some of the capabilities that our solution has compared to other solutions, and because of that, our customers on an average have seen anywhere between 150% to 300% improvement in their lead conversion. So if somebody is coming to a website, right, and they typically, when you say conversion, it is that they give their personal details, right? They are saying that, okay, I'm interested in this particular product, please contact me, right? This is, you can consider as one of the ways of conversion. There are different ways of conversions for all the different products, but let's say that's one step, right? So people who come to our website for which our Dave AI solution is deployed, there's a 150% to 300% chance that they would leave their personal details rather than without our solution, right? Or if you compare it with other solutions which are similar, which is like a bot or a simple avatar which just narrates the details of the product, right? So these are some of the use cases that we have, and we have proven to our customers that it is in fact beneficial, and over time our AI is able to learn better, and from that's where this range of 150 to 300 comes, because we are constantly improving, and over 2 to 3 years it almost triples the number of leads that our customers have after they've deployed our solution.
That's quite interesting piece right there. You mentioned that 150% conversion to 300% conversion is quite interesting, right? And very, very amazing number right there, Anand. So that brings me to my last question for today. Like, what are the plans for future? How are you planning to expand the operations and in the next 3 years or so, maybe?
So as I said, one of the biggest things that we have seen as a change is metaverse, right? Like if you look at 2016 when AI was the buzzword, and now AI is in practice. What we are seeing now is that the metaverse is the buzzword, and we are looking at a lot of people looking at selling, considering the metaverse as a channel for them to sell, right? So until the 2000, website was considered a website, or an e-commerce website was not considered a channel, but post 2000, around 2005, it became more and more of a leading channel for them to sell their products, right? So people have now started exploring the metaverse as a channel to sell their products. So these people are right from home decor people, right, who sell tiles and paints and things like that. There are paints and woodwork, etc., furniture. These people from automobile companies, fashion companies which have digital fashion online, and also we're looking at all other kinds of companies which are not that, for example, food companies, right, who are brands of foods, for example, like MTR, for example, right, which is a brand which makes packaged foods. So a lot of these companies are looking at metaverse as a channel for them to sell to the next generation of their users, because the next generation of the users are not going to be happy or not going to be satisfied with browsing apps or browsing through thumbnails, right? They want something which is real, which is a 3D representation, which is more engaging and something that they can be more immersed in. And here is where I think the presence of our core engine, which is the avatar, becomes very important, because there needs to be somebody who guides these people as to what the products are and what the product is about, and then lead them to a place where they can leave their information, or they can generate leads. And hence almost all the projects we are now working on, not all, but like a fairly large percentage of products of the projects that we're working on currently are related to metaverse or have a metaverse component in them. So what we think is that that's going to be the future of where our technology goes. So we are also developing a lot of new technology which helps migrate our technology from a website and kiosk based solution, kiosk and app based solution, to a 3D solution which can readily be available in a game, or can be available in some sort of a 3D environment which you're exploring, which can be on a VR device, or it can be on like an Xbox kind of an interface, or on something else that will come in the future. So we are trying to make it adaptable in that way to be useful in case of these kind of new interfaces and new channels that are coming up. That's where we see the future of our product.
Right. So you rightly mentioned, right? So metaverse is going to be the next thing, right? And you shifting or pivoting makes sense as well, right? So quite interesting, but Anand. So that's about it from our end for today. I personally, to be honest, got to know a bit more about the whole ecosystem and how it is shifting and the impact that you are creating through Dave, right? So that's quite amazing. Thanks, Anand. It was a pleasure having you over.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Yeah.